How did you turn your life around? I decided to stop comparing myself to my brother and try to focus on the improvable. God, I wish I could do that. I'm the big brother, I should have my shit together. I quit drinking when I was 24, went back to college when I was 26 and graduated at 29. I had to take a break from college cause of depression and dumb decisions I made during my 4th year. I'm 23 and I still haven't gone back. Always feel like I'm wasting my time, but this is inspiring to pick myself back up and go finish. Thank you for sharing. After being laid off from my last factory job, I suddenly found myself on the streets of Toronto in the early 1990s with a grade 9 education. No money. No friends. No job references. And not really any family. So what did I do? Found an unbelievably dirty, crappy crawl space basement apartment. Applied for welfare. Stopped drinking and smoking. And anything else unhealthy. Got a gym membership and went 4 hours a day. Jogged 5 miles every morning, weather permitting. Enrolled in an adult high school. Ignored everyone and everything that would be a distraction. Got my high school diploma with honors in 2 years. Applied for university. Got in. Moved to a different city and spent 4 years getting my BA Hon in philosophy, because I like to think and solve problems. Applied to a graduate program. And spent the next 10 years getting my MA and my PhD. Then spent the next several years as a professor making good money and having lots of fun. Won't say how things are going now because I got cursed with poor health, etc. And so I'm no longer working. I'll just say that I am happy now and know that I would have ended up either dead or in jail if I hadn't done what I did all those years ago. Sooner or later everyone has got to take their life seriously. Quit a job that wasn't making me happy. Went back to college. Just literally handed in my notice at my shitty office job during a global pandemic tanking economy to go back to college this September. I'm 29 and scared shitless. This has given me hope. I grew up in South Florida during the beginning of the opioid craziness. From 2006 to 2011 things got pretty bad. I'm 2011 I sold my last possession. My car for $800, packed 2 suitcases and bought a bus ticket to Denver. Never been to Denver. Didn't know anyone there, but weed was starting to be legal and I didn't want to miss out. I detoxed on the bus going from Florida to Colorado. Do not recommend. I got lucky and ended up sitting next to a guy that was a grower and needed help in his garden. I didn't know it at the time, but on the Greyhound he said I had an 8-hour job interview. Got to Denver and he really helped me get established. Within 2 months I was sleeping on his couch and learning how to grow. Haven't touched a painkiller since I got on that bus almost 9.5 years ago, and now I'm married. Homeowner. Decent car. And working my dream job in the cannabis industry. It's not for everyone. But I literally went from homeless sticking needles in my arm to living a life better than I could have ever imagined. I wasn't happy. Lost weight. Shaved head. Got tattoos. Travel more. Complain less. Everything I do is for myself. I have a long way to go. If it's me trying to impress someone, it never sticks. You have to want to do it yourself. Paid off my debt slowly but surely and worked my ass off to buy a house. Took years, but it was worth it. Realized there was more to life than partying and waking up hungover all the time. Yeah, my kids took care of that, But on the other hand, my 4-year-old managed to start the car with her little brother in the backseat and drive for 20 meters before the car got jammed on top of large rocks and a pile of lumber. Love my kids. I heavily reduced sugar when I was 21 and started resistance training. 2 years later and I am feeling the best I have ever felt. Have so much energy and self-confidence because I actually like the way I look now. Clothes fit so much better as well. Quite recently, I deleted Facebook. Deleted Instagram and Snapchat. I now only use Twitter and Reddit. I stopped making an effort to those who don't for me. I cut out the toxic people in my life and I surrounded myself with positivity and care. Find a 1996 Honda Civic with a clean title and low miles. Reading more and using social media less. I'm almost at the point where I can just delete Reddit. Almost. Reddit can be a good support system. Just don't argue in useless threads. That's the biggest trap in toxic social media. Moving out of my parents' house. I was living with my parents, which is very common thing in India, until end of my med school. I've been in my comfort zone all my life and had everything I need. That led to depression and I wanted to live by myself and to get out of my bubble. Now I can't say I figured it all, but I definitely feel better. This seems to be an Indian thing. I'm in South Africa, but my parents want me to get married first before moving out. But like you, I'm craving independence. So tired of answering to other people. Also, I don't want to get married and let that be my first experience of living alone. My wife would think I'm useless. Started going to therapy. Slowly realized that I have to think about myself too. Started going to gym. Setting boundaries. Eating foods I like, and every day I tried to do one thing that made me happy. And I finally got the courage to go to school and study something I actually like. Leaving TikTok. Yeah, I feel like the app is good, but it got real political after all the protests started. Stopped caring about things I can't control and put all my energy into the things I can. It sounds hard, but there's actually a lot you can control, and that doesn't leave much room for the other shit. This is such a mental, and I will even say physical, release. Stress levels way down. I let others do their own thing. I no longer try to push my ego to fix problems that are not mine. Taking vitamin D3 for a bad deficiency and quitting my job with a verbally abusive boss to better my mental health. Hey. Crazy. I just got back from the store where I got my supplements package. I tested with severe deficiency. I don't go out much and I hate the sun. When I go out it's only during the evening and night time past 6 PM. I ordered D3 and K3. Vitamin D and K with plant-based iodine and plant-based omega-3. Hope these will help. There are tons of stuff, but I basically never ate fish that much even when I used to eat meat. Lived in Detroit. Skies are grey. Got laid off because management made an absolute mess out of the merger. Next door neighbor got murdered. Decided the city will be the death of me and my happiness. 2. Sold the house. Bought a van. Moved to LA. Went to school. Now I am doing some of the coolest shit imaginable. A number of publications. Trips to the jungle. Exploring uncharted caves. Meeting celebs. Jumping out of airplanes. Presenting at academic conferences. Now trying to get into a PhD program in archaeology. That's it in a nutshell. Stopped smoking weed. Good choice. Me too. I love to be stoned, but I realized it doesn't help me reaching my goals. Decided it's okay to put yourself first no matter what. I don't mean that go ahead and cheat and lie for your benefits. For example, I was seeing this toxic person for some time and I was the one always compromising. When things finally ended, I chose to cut off all contact from that person while they wanted to remain in touch for support or validation. I felt bad and selfish while doing it, but starting to feel better about myself now that that person is out of my life. You need to be selfish if the other person is being selfish too. Eating healthier, sleeping well, and exercising regularly. The benefits of those 3 are so noticeable. You feel more energized and motivated. My old school was absolute shit. My teachers were incompetent and were fueling my mental health issues rather than helping me with them. Ran away from home after a fight with my mom. Lived in a governmental institution for kids and teenagers for 6 months and changed schools. I'm a student of a Christian private school now, not Catholic though. Sounds worse than it is. And I finished therapy. My teachers here really care about their students and want them to be good and happy. Changed my grades from an average of 4 in Germany 1 is the best and 5/6 is the worst, to a 2.0, and I'm back at home with my mom. Never been happier in my life. Went from just partying hard on the weekends to partying hard every day to losing my job from partying hard. Drug test failed for coke. From there it turned to meth. Really low point. One day, I had an epiphany and realized that it wasn't what I wanted. And that I've seen people go down similar paths. Actively seeked help. Changed friend groups. Stayed in. Got clean and am now doing okay. Can't say I'm doing great. But my future is looking better every day. Even if it's only slightly. The addiction is still affecting me. Even after all this time. It's caused insomnia and depression. Along with anxiety. Things I didn't have before doing coke meth. Leaving Tumblr. I had been brainwashed into one of the most insufferable people. Boycotting everything. Tirades about inequality regardless of the appropriateness. The hive mind mentality was making me a bad person who thought I was always right and just. I'm happier now that I got out of there and people actually like being around me. I have friends again. Most importantly though, I'm enjoying the world without constantly spitting venom at anything that isn't the perfect utopia project. Nah. I did a lot of mushrooms and it helped me stop drinking. Working on everything else with an advantage these days. Realizing I don't have to act like someone I'm not just to be liked by everyone. Changed my life choices and it made me a much happier man. I wish I've done it sooner and not on my late 20s. So much wasted time. Quit having a victimhood mentality and start to take responsibility for once over my life. That's awesome. It's a hard mindset to change but you feel so much stronger and more confident when you do. I thought and felt like life was all meaningless. Relationship with family wasn't that strong at the time and had a moment of distance with God. So I thought dying was the best option. I was unsuccessful at giving up life so decided to give life another chance and trying differently. So far I think I'm doing well. I kinda regret for wasted time but what can I do? Moving forward with the best I can is the only option. Edit. Sorry I don't think this is a very clear explanation but yeah that's my story. I realized that I needed control of my life. I was on a bad path to life in jail. And was listening to a bad crowd. Jail or death were the paths in front of me. One day while cleaning dishes it dawned on me that I had more worth. I could do better than that. I now run tow truck and love it. I get to help people and make smiles happen on so many faces it's not even funny. I give them a little knowledge along the way cause I know a thing or two. But tell them to take it with a grain of salt as I'm not a mechanic but it's a start to what may save them money. 9-year relationship ended in 2008. We had kids and mortgage. I was miserable. Then I found a book by Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, which talks about how vast majority of our suffering is unconsciously created by ourselves. I took the book's words into practice and it works. Refused to be another statistic. Never stayed complacent. Allowed myself to be uncomfortable and enter scary unknown territory for personal and professional growth. Oh and I got pets and they make me so happy. And they make me want to do better so I can get them nice things like a big backyard and lots of toys lol. Education first. Find a job with prospects and work up. Get a hobby and develop your skills in it. Eat well. It doesn't need to be expensive but nutritious workout. It will benefit you in every way from confidence to life opportunities. Save steadily to get to deposits on a place. From there you can build an empire. Remember to rely on yourself. You are the only one who can truly help you. If your life feels like it needs turned around then in my experience there is a desire in the back of your mind that you've ignored for too long. Could be anything. But you have to do one of two things. You have to either start taking realistic steps towards that desire. Or you have to reconcile the fact that the desire is unobtainable and stop dwelling on it. You also need to understand that either way is a step forward. Went to the gym. It helped me break out of OCD-induced psychosis and brought me back to reality and have been going every day since. Had to replace it with exercising in the park during the peak of COVID though. Met a really nice girl. She generously gave me far more compassion. kindness and patience than a wretched creature like me deserved. Over time she changed me. I put down the bottle. I abandoned all my vices. I got clean. I couldn't have done it without her. Still clean to this day. November 2013. I was doing nothing with my life at 23 years old. One day I hadn't eaten for over 18 hours, and before I even realized what was happening, my body had already gone into the process of rejecting whatever food I tried to eat. I was nearly dying on my couch screaming in pain. And I promised myself if that I'm going to get my life together from that moment on. An ambulance was called. I spent the night in the hospital struggling to eat a sandwich. And within the next week I had registered for classes at an adult education school to get the last of my high school credits so that I could go to college. I did everything I promised myself I would. And in September of 2014 I started college. Now I'm $12,000 in debt, working an enjoyable, well-paying full-time job I didn't even need to go to college for. That isn't even remotely related to my college program. Oh, and I'm laid off of work. By the way, college is a scam. By taking responsibility. What I mean by that is that by accepting that this life is mine and I'm the only one that can turn it around. Nobody else. I quit drinking and smoking and all other bad habits, and I started training and counting calories to lose weight. 2 years later I'm healthier than ever. I'm surrounded by people who I love and love me. I got rid of all toxic people in my life, including my family, and I'm about to get married and start my own business. Quit drinking. Going on 8 months now after 15 years of heavy liquor abusing. I got sick of my own shit. I quit blaming everything else and took responsibility for my typically shitty moods and attitude. I quit anger and aggression cold turkey. It was either stop or lose the most important person outside of my immediate family, who is a saint for putting up with said bullshit for so long. Fresh out of hospital for self-harm. Now accepting that I'm transgender. Got a lot to work through, but I hope this is the end of a cycle and the start of something new. Edit. Also quit Facebook. Constant bad news was bringing me down. I don't think we, as a species, are emotionally capable of handling the constant bombardment. Career change at age 28. Took 10 years of part-time study and working multiple jobs and volunteering. Not easy, but totally doable for anyone. The stress of the career change did actually make me unwell when I began to run out of steam and suffer from burnout. Almost lost it all. Under advice of doctor, I found a hobby for me time. That hobby was Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. This saved me. So in short, a career change and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu are things that truly turned my life around. I found faith. I may get downvoted to oblivion for even suggesting such a thing. But I digress. Satanist, drug addict, and alcoholic to clean. Born again Christian overnight. It's a whole story and I'm sure it's in my post history somewhere. But my life changed for the better in every way. I'm able to hold a job. I'm able to maintain my money. I'm able to be actually happy after so many years of depression and misery. I give God the glory. He did it and I found something irreplicable in him. Ditched all the dumb and toxic friends. Ghosted all of them unless they came to me. None came back to me and I made really great friends over time afterwards. Also moved to a different country where I started to work immediately and currently enjoying the rich study life. Dumped a girl that was angry whenever I tried to get out of my situation, and I did a master's degree in my chosen field. Halfway through I got a job with a great employer and 5 times the salary I was on before. I was a high school dropout in a dead-end job earning $30K per year. Found out my girlfriend was pregnant when we were only 20 and had visions of being a deadbeat broke dad who couldn't provide for a kid I brought into the world. So I did a bridging course and went to university at 21 just as my daughter was born. Married my GF at 24 and have since had 2 more kids. Comfortably earn $200K a year and have a great career and feel like everything just fell into place.